Yo, what's up fam? It's your boy NoisySauce, and today I'm going to be doing my first ever album reaction and review. I'm going to be doing DaBaby's Blame It On Baby. I've managed to get by the last couple of weeks or whenever it got dropped without hearing one track of it and also without checking out any reviews on it. So I'm going to be hitting this one extremely fresh. So I'm just going to hit play on the first track and we're going to talk about it.
Throwing some sauce on that beat.
Okay, so first track, Can't Stop. It's pretty cool. It's a bit different to his regular stuff. He's still rocking that same kind of flow that he was doing before, although he's kind of like flipped it around a bit, made it a little bit more interesting while still staying in that typical DaBaby flow that he has made so popular. Chorus is pretty weak, and I don't like how the there's like talking over the main tagline, and it just kind of like all blends into one. Verses are pretty cool. One thing that I think he's really done here, which is cool, is gotten a bit more emotional with his rapping technique. He's drifted a little bit away from that cocky rapping style that he's been, you know, so well known for, and he's like really pushing the aggressive sound. It suits him. I dig it. The beat's cool. I like how it's pretty similar to his old beats in the 808s and the drums, but the melodic thing happening over the top, I don't know what it is, kind of like weird synth sampley thing, is new for him, I think, and, you know, changes it up a bit. I dig it. All right, let's jump on to the next track, Pickup. All right, so I just finished listening to Pickup, and that's a pretty cool track. We're back to his cocky style of rapping track about, I mean, most of DaBaby's stuff is fairly similar in its content about how good and rich he is, and, you know, that's just how he be. We've got a feature from Quavo in here, which is also quite good. DaBaby's flow is, as always, he's just got this awesome, effortless flow. He's back to his standard style. This one is a bit more classic DaBaby than Can't Stop was, and I love the sample of that Who Are You Kid. What is it, the Kazoo Kid or whatever? Primo. Keeping up with the memes, even though that's a pretty old one. Yeah, sick track. I dig it, and yeah, I guess we're just going to move on to Lightskinned shit now. Let's do it. All right, so I've just finished with Lightskinned shit. Pretty good track, fairly similar in style to DaBaby's regular stuff. Verse is top notch. Falls down a little bit in the chorus. I think his choruses on his previous albums have been a little bit tighter and a bit more catchy, but I feel like this chorus is just a part of a verse that he's like, screw it, I'll just turn that into the chorus. There's a feature from Future on here, which is really cool. He's got an awesome flow on this and some really interesting like rhyming patterns and stuff like that, just like solid from Future there. And I mean, DaBaby's verse is good too, but yeah, Future I think took the cake on that one. Next up, we got Talk About It. All right, talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is probably my favorite track so far. I really dug the chorus. It's got a bit more of a story to it than just bravado kind of rap the whole time. The second verse really gets into a lot of his problems with the law, which is kind of cool to hear his take on that. Especially, I think he's talking about newer stuff there. One thing I didn't dig is that he repeats the chorus, which is already quite a long chorus as it is. The second and the third time, it's double, just exactly the same thing twice. I don't think it really needs it. I feel like he's just trying to pad out time here, because even with those double choruses, it's still only a 2 minute and 2 minute 40-second song. And I think if he took out those double choruses and that extra bit of beat that plays at the end, it would probably end up being about 1 minute 40. To put it into perspective, those choruses are the same length as the verses, so there's a lot of chorus happening up in there. But it is a really good track. The flow's good. Lyrics are really cool. It's got a bit of a story to it. I dig it. It's a good one. Next up, we got Sad Shit. Let's check it out. Okay, we got some sad shit happening. Just played through this track. I dig it. The verses are really, really good. Delivery is awesome. Flow is really good. Subject matter is like pretty meaningful. And I dig what he's done with that. Not much bad I can say about the verses. Yeah, the killed it on there, but the chorus is just, I don't know, he's tried to be like really emotional, and I don't know, the vocals are just not very good. The lyrics, I know my old bitch miss me is a pretty trash line, and I don't know, I think the choruses could do with a lot of work in the production and in the lyrics and in the delivery as well. Like the choruses are pretty trash. None of it matches up. Like he's got this really sad style, but he doesn't sound that sad. The production is kind of just dry and I don't know, doesn't really go with it. And the vocals, the lyrics are just, oh no. No good. He would have been better off getting Post Malone to write that one, I reckon. He would have been able to get the chorus right for that. Having said that, as I said before, the verses are fire. He had a lot of cool, aggressive lyrics in there, and his delivery of it was top notch. So great verses, bad chorus seems to be a theme on this album so far. But we got a few more tracks to go. So next up, I've got Find My Way. Let's check it out. Okay, I've just finished Find My Way. You guys can't hear this because this is a review and I can't play copyrighted music, unfortunately. Cool. I've also realized, I said it before, that I really liked the sample of that Wait a Minute, Who Are You Kid? But I realized that is Ayo Kid's sample, beat tag, so stupid. Cool. This one I have heard before. I saw this one's been a single for a little while, so this is cool. I think this is probably the strongest chorus of a track so far, and I do think he got a lot of the elements of the kind of more emotional song right on this track, except, I mean, he just gets way too graphic with the sexual imagery while having like this really sad thing, like saying you've got a broken heart and saying she's riding his dick in the car in the same two lines is just, I don't know, it's just doesn't really fit. And there's a lot of other examples in here where he's trying to, I don't know, put forward like a really emotional track, but there's just so much sexual stuff that's just like not dulled down at all. But I mean, it's cool. And also talking about killing people in an emotional song about having your heart broken in not a very emotional way. I don't know. It's cool. Like, I think this is probably the strongest chorus. As I said before, the verses, like, delivery is pretty cool and the beat's cool. I really like the guitar in this one. It's good. It's a good track. I don't know. I just think there's like a few little things, like if you had just another producer on there, I don't know who produced this. I haven't actually looked any of that up yet, but someone kind of just giving some advice on when not to talk about riding dick when your heart's broken. Anyway, I'm going to go to the next track, Rockstar, with feature by Roddy Ricch. Let's check it out. All right, so Rockstar featuring Roddy Ricch. This is a cool track. This is probably the strongest chorus so far, actually. This is a pretty good song. I don't really have much bad to say about this one. The chorus is solid. He definitely goes a lot more experimental in his flow in the verse, and I reckon it sounds awesome. He's got like a really cool sound throughout the whole verse and switches it up quite a bit. You don't get much of that standard dub baby flow that is present on most of the rest of the record so far. Roddy Ricch's verse is primo. I don't know what that dude is doing, but he manages to just do these outrageous things that kind of sound like, I don't know, he's just improvising, but pulls it off so good and sounds great. So great track. I'm pretty sure this one is a single. I've seen the name around a bit, so not surprising why. It's a pretty good track. And yeah, Roddy Ricch is sick on it. DaBaby's verse is awesome. A little bit more of the emotional stuff on here as well, a bit more storytelling. So I definitely think he's going with that kind of direction for this record over his normal bravado-y stuff that he's been doing most of the rest of the time. So yeah, I think it's cool. I like where he's going with it. We're going to move on to the next track now. So let's check out Champion. Okay, so I know I said I was doing Champion, but I actually was reviewing Jump. I kind of jumped ahead of myself. But now I've got to talk about this one, which is a really good track as well. I feel like this album's getting better, or maybe I'm just getting more used to it. We'll see what happens. If I'm loving it by the end, we'll know that that's the case. Either that or the tracks just keep getting better. This one is a collab with Young Boy Never Broke Again, which they kind of trade off the chorus and also trade off verses pretty much evenly throughout the whole track. DaBaby is killing it back to his bravado style, and yeah, just fire verses. Really good chorus as well. I do like this one. And the beat is really cool. It's kind of got this like really round sounding but short bass throughout the whole thing. Interesting kind of percussion loop, and yeah, just cool beat, really simple, and fits well with this track, especially since these guys are throwing a lot of words into every verse here, so they need as much room as possible to kind of get everything they're saying out there. Young Boy Never Broke Again, he's killed it. Great verses as well. Probably one of like he's one of the only ones that can really keep up with DaBaby in terms of like just punching out a whole bunch of words and making it sound like it flows really well as well. Yeah, I don't know. Cool stuff. I really like that one. I'm going to be listening to that one a lot more as well. So now we are jumping on to Champion. Let's check it out. All right, so we just listened to Champion, and to be honest, this is probably my least favorite track so far on the album. I thought the beat was pretty whack. It had this like weird grinding bass sound that wasn't punchy at all and just sat there, and then it had these like whoops up in the verse that also really weird. I don't know why you do that. It just got in the way of the vocals. Just not a big fan of the beat all around, which is weird because I've liked most of the beats on the album so far. The chorus, not too bad. I really like a lot of how his cadences are in the chorus, or the hook, whatever you want to call it. I just think it could have been produced a little bit better. It just is produced exactly the same as his verse, with the same kind of ad-libs. It could have been done a little bit differently, and I think the vocals would have made a lot more sense. But I did dig the cadences. I dug the lyrics in the chorus. It's just, I don't know, the production just wasn't there for me. And the verse was all right at the start, dropped off, just not that much to it. Nothing really memorable about it. Also, this track is super short, with just a chorus at the start, one verse in the middle, and a chorus at the end, and it clocks in at about 2 minutes 15. I think you would not miss it if this song just wasn't on the album at all. So, I mean, I've said that about a lot of songs that I've ended up loving, so maybe that'll be what happens with this one. But right now, first impressions, did not like Champion. Probably the bottom of the track list for me so far. Let's move on. The next track I got is Drop, featuring A Boogie with the Hoodie and my personal legend. This guy who I look up to is London on the Track. Yeah, let's check it out. All right, so we just checked out Drop featuring A Boogie with the Hoodie and London on the Track. London on the Track just does the beat. I don't know why he's there as a feature. Whatever, doesn't matter. DaBaby's verse on this was really cool. It's probably my favorite, where he's gone away from his regular style of rapping. I think he killed it on this one, and the same with the chorus, worked pretty well. Yeah, don't have much bad to say about the chorus. Actually, I thought it was pretty good. Definitely a different style of song to his regular stuff. I wasn't a big fan of A Boogie with the Hoodie's verse. I thought it just kind of, I don't know, was a nothing verse, but, you know, I do dig his other stuff quite a lot. So, A Boogie with the Hoodie, could have done better on this one. DaBaby did a pretty good try.
Whatever.
Good track, not the best, but yeah, still pretty cool. And had my idol London on the Track on it, so I do dig that. Cool. Next up, we're going to check out the track Blame It On Baby, which is the title track of the record. Let's peep this. Okay, Blame It On Baby. What a track. This is probably the most interesting track of the whole album. It is not your typical title track. Normally, a title track is like super radio friendly, and I don't know. This is anything but radio friendly. So this is just one long verse. There's no hook in this. It just kind of keeps going and going and going. That's one thing that is very odd about it in terms of it being a popular song. Second thing, there's no drums. The whole track has no drums in it, which is super weird. There are some like bassy 808, which is more of a bass instrument than a drum. So yeah, there's none of that. Definitely no cymbals or snares. The instrumentation changes up throughout the track, just like seemingly randomly, it jumps around to all these different things, mostly like really, I don't know, childish sounding instruments. There's like a kid's piano kind of sound in there, like a xylophone, I think. I'm kind of guessing here. What sounds to me like a ukulele, just like really kiddie kind of sounds all throughout it. And yeah, that's kind of cool. And I think the most mental part about it is there's this big section in the center. It's like probably about a third of the track right in the center where the entire beat just completely drops out and changes tempo. So like not only does the instrumentation change, but the entire tempo of the track changed. Like they just inserted this entirely different beat up in there. And he does mention that in the lyrics, like says why they be like, why you switched up the beat, because his flow's neat and they thought he couldn't switch up the flow. So how the hell he's switching the beat up? Obviously making a big deal of the fact that he's switching up his flow quite a bit, not only on this track, but on the record. But yeah, the beat. I think I've only talked about the beat so far. His flow's sick. It's super good. It's I guess this is a bit of a show-off track where to me it's kind of saying like I can make a fire track with this like really minimal, no drums, childish sounding background. All I need is my voice to really make an awesome sounding track, and his flow and like his lyrics obviously and his delivery. It's all really good on this. Super interesting. I like stuff like this where it's a little bit left of center, and yeah, probably not in the running for my favorite tracks on the record, but I mean it's pretty cool. I do dig it and I like how different it is, so that's a good one. Blame it on Baby. Blame it on Baby.
Blame it on Baby.
Cool track. All right, next up I've got Nasty featuring Ashanti and Megan Thee Stallion. So let's check that out now. All right, Nasty featuring Ashanti and Megan Thee Stallion. This is probably the filthiest track on the record. They've kind of made a point of the whole thing being pretty outrageous, while I don't know, like it's all kind of a bit of a joke because it's got like that really romantic sound to it. The chorus is like, which Ashanti sings, is like really, I don't know, swoony, but all the all the lyrics are just obscene, both from DaBaby, Megan Thee Stallion, also getting her typical dirty mouth on this one, and Ashanti even having a little bit of fun in like a little mini verse towards the end there. Good track. I like the comedy in it. Production is tight on it. The verses are pretty good. Yeah, I think this is a good track all around. Not really that much bad to say about it. It's just a good fun track, and the features on it are sick. I think Megan Thee Stallion is awesome. She's done some really cool other tracks too, so that's a thumbs up from me. I think we only got one left on this one, and that is Amazing Grace. So let's check that right now. All right, that was the last track of the album, Amazing Grace. This is a pretty short track. It's, I'm just checking it now. It's 1:30 with a chorus. It does have like it's got like 2 verses, but they are so short. And yeah, it's just a really quick track, just chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. And there's not that much to it. There's not that much happening in this one. Like the beat doesn't really change up in the choruses compared to the verses, and neither does his flow or anything. It just kind of all flows into one long track. The lyrics are pretty cool in the verse content. Like the verses, he's got like a bit more meaningful shit in here than most of his music. So I dig that. He's got a good flow and a pretty good delivery. It's just nothing that special about it. It's a bit of a throwaway track, I feel. And given the content of the lyrics, I think he could have done a lot more with it if he was willing to put in the time and, I don't know, produce it a little bit more. So it was cool. Nothing outstanding about it, but yeah, Amazing Grace, middle of the road. Not my favorite track on the record, but still okay. So I guess that is about it, and I've just got to kind of go through all the tracks and give an overall review of it. I'd say overall it's not his best work. It's definitely like Kirk and Baby on Baby were just solid records. Haven't really listened to anything he's done before that, but those two records are just so good that this one had a lot to kind of stand up to. But Blame It on Baby, pretty cool. Had some good songs on it. The track Blame It on Baby is really cool. My favorite track on the record was, pretty sure it was Jump, was a really cool track. And there were some other good tracks. Lightskinned shit with Future, which was a really cool track. And Future's feature on it was awesome. Roddy Ricch's feature on Rockstar was good, and that was an awesome track as well. The album kind of started off a bit weak with Can't Stop and Pick Up. They weren't that good. Amazing Grace was pretty average, and there was a couple of other tracks that were pretty average on there. But overall, like, the quality of verses was quite high. I think the quality of the choruses was middle of the road. The beats were pretty good most of the way through, with a couple of beats that were, I didn't think they worked that well. I think the main thing that let this album down was the production. And I'm not talking about the beat production. I'm talking about the producing of the choruses and the verses, like how they run into each other, how they change up, and just like the structures of the song to make them more exciting. You know, the vocal layering, adding instruments in, stuff like that, stuff dropping out, coming in, just all that stuff was kind of missing with this album. And I think that's what he's done, or has been done on his records really well previously. And yeah, solid. I don't know what I would give this out of 10. I'm pretty bad at reviewing stuff because some days I'd probably give it a higher mark than others, but I'd say overall this album's probably middle of the road, somewhere around a 4 to a 6 star out of 10. So yeah, keen to hear what you guys think. If you dug the album or if you didn't, definitely hit me up. Let me know your thoughts if you think I'm straight up wrong about anything. I also don't know any background of any of this. I haven't done any study on any of the lyrical content or anything like that, or what anything means. So I might be missing a whole bunch of stuff there, but I'm just going off first impressions, which is why it's a reaction. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks so much. I'm probably going to do more of these here and there, but this is my first reaction, so I'm keen to hear what you guys think of it. Peace out, everybody.